Welcome. I realized last episode I was not speaking loud enough, and I was also not speaking with enough enthusiasm. I was a little flat, and that doesn't work on YouTube, but I'm doing my best. This is a work in progress. Also, the sound was terrible. But every day we get a little bit closer. I am a comic creator, not a YouTuber. So today I wanted to discuss what indie comics are doing wrong. And before I do that, let me just say I have no script and no real agenda here. This is all off the cuff. Just a couple thoughts. I reserve a lot of my consternation on this channel for the big two. It's because they are the market leaders, and I feel that their changes could affect the most change the fastest. But that doesn't mean that they're the only change that needs to happen. It doesn't mean they're the only change that could happen. And frankly, those of us in the creator-owned sphere and indie market need to approach this differently and maybe assume that the cavalry is not coming over the hill. What are we currently doing wrong? Let's assess that really quickly at the risk of being negative. We are approaching projects with zero confidence. This is only partially our fault. It's been beaten into us. Retailers will tell you, hey, kid, your book's not going to get past 5 issues. Publishers will tell you not to get your hopes up, although I will say my experience at Image is that they do explicitly want long runs, which makes sense, right? That's more trades in market. Something like Monstrous is a beast for that reason. Publishers want it, but some publishers look at the market and it doesn't seem sustainable, and they'll tell you that. So indie creators are often a little gun shy, a little timid about creating something that they hope lasts 50 issues. It's also there's a level of embarrassment because when creators talk about their work in blogs or news sites or YouTube, and they talk about doing long runs, there's an element of cringe because people in the know are looking at it going, "You think that's going to 12 issues? Never mind 50." And I think that haterism, that which may be practical, may be down to earth in most respects, needs to be disregarded. We need to shoot for the moon on our titles. Are we in a disadvantaged position by comparison to the big two regarding 50-issue runs? Yeah, of course. It's a fucking hurdle right now, and you'll hear you. And I should also say there's different philosophies on this. Watched a video with Sean Gordon Murphy where he suggested that what's best for at least the artist is to do shorter runs. You get more coverage that way. I don't mean media coverage, but I mean you spread yourself out to more people. You make a longer, broader impact on the market than quarantining yourself on one title. Now, for writers, I would say long runs are just a benefit, unless you push it past its viability and you end up entering a space where people kind of pity you. And this is a delicate thing to talk about because these are some of the creators I respect most in life. But there's a number of creators who have pushed their properties past the sell-by date by a lot just because they have a great love for them, or maybe they've convinced themselves there's some type of transmedia sale that could happen if they continue on and demonstrate that this could be 30 seasons of something. Or maybe they just don't have any other ideas. We should address that. That's always possible. The well runs dry, or at least goes dry for a time for most people. I think our hesitancy to commit to long form is damaging us. I also think our fear of doing marquee characters is really killing us. Now, I don't mean to suggest that this is always the case, right? I'm speaking in generalities. This is just a broad assessment. The push towards long title that you hope connects with readers because it's so kitschy and memorable, I think is a bad move, right? I think that for every something is killing the children, you get 3 kind of knockoff, off-brand versions of that naming convention that is not destined to make the same impact. I really feel that there is something to marquee characters. There is something to Spider-Man. Now, Spider-Man is Spider-Man for a variety of reasons, but there's no denying that there's a difference between Amazing Fantasy, the title that he started in, and The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man is something that readers can invest themselves in. I I don't know if indie creators are doing this just because it's a trend, because there's been successful books like Something is Killing the Children that have those long naming conventions, or if it's just fear. Again, if there's like a element of I don't want to be laughed at by my peers, I don't want to open myself up for cringe. There's something naked about making your character the title of the book. There's something exposing, and you're caught in your underwear. Now, is this some effort at looking more literate, at adding credibility to the medium, or is it a fear of looking too retrograde, looking like you are trying to recreate a thing that is past superhero comics heyday? Maybe, but I don't know. Books like Parker, it's not a superhero name, but it is a character on the marquee, right? What about something like the recent Brubaker Phillips title Reckless, right? The character's last name is Reckless. Now, that's a ridiculous idea, but it is so effective at selling what the energy of the book is and also putting the property up front, putting the character in the limelight. Uh, I think that that's a much better long-term strategy than attempting to look like the literature section of a bookstore. Um, Comics are a lot of things, and comics can certainly be literature, and I applaud anybody's effort to do different things in this medium. But in terms of the direct market and how we can best help ourselves on shelves, I think that we're going to have to slide back into property, character, these things in the front row, these things center stage, these things unavoidable, and I think that we have to commit to as long a run as we can within profitability or just honestly viability, because we have to be patient. Some of these things are going to do better in trade, God willing. I'm sure this will be a 20-part video of criticisms that I have of the indie market. But the first two off the top of my head, I try to keep these videos short. And the first two off the top of my head are our fear of going long, our fear of embarrassing ourselves with falling short of going long, and our fear of putting our characters under the spotlight, which is under the microscope, and not looking contemporary. I think that's a big part of this. I think that trends just take hold of something, and it's not a knock against anybody. Obviously, when I bring up something like Something is Killing the Children, it's a smash hit of a book and has done great for stores. People really enjoy it. So this is not an attack on anybody who's done well doing the other thing. It's simply to say that I think we're going to have to list back into what makes comic books, because I feel like that'll help maybe not get new readers, but I think that that will lock in existing readers into indie books and hopefully pull them away from the big two so we can have much more of an equitable and truly shared ecosystem versus the big fish taking the big bites, and then the little pieces of what remains float to the bottom of the tank. So if we're going to do that, I think characters, sell the character first. I'd love to get back to that. And if you're a retailer, let me know your thoughts, if those things even matter to you in your opinion, or if it all comes down to premise, or if it all comes down to creators. Let me know. If you're a reader, let me know what immediately grabs you. I imagine that a lot of my viewers are very contemporary in their reading, and think that that suggestion that I just made about marquee characters is just some old fogey shit, which maybe it is. And if you're a pro, hit me and let me know why you're so scared.